The Gameday Broadcast Network is proud to present Baseball Media Day, hosted by the Ballpark, Loudoun. Baseball Media Day is brought to you by Capital Closets, a perfect solution for all of your storage needs. By Integrated Sports Medicine and Physical Therapy. Visit Robin O'Connor and her team the next time you have to get back in the game. And by Finnegan's Grill and Irish Pub, the best sports pub and grill in Ashburn.
Yeah, I'm Coach Shain from Tuscarora High School in Leesburg, Virginia. A couple things from last year. We went 14-8 with the regular season and the postseason record. We went 13-1 in conference, was the best record in conference for a while at Tuscarora, clinching our first school history regular season championship, which was really great. A couple things that we came back helping us with the offseason this year and continuing on with the excellence built from last year is our team culture. We really focus on three things: selfless, grit, and energy. All three things that they can control. I actually have a couple players back there that have been voted captains who demonstrate this on a regular basis, and without them, we wouldn't have the culture that we've built over the past couple of years. There are 5 seniors returning, 4 of which are captains, and all of them were our key returning starters from last year. We also have 8 guys from our lineup last year that will be returning as well. We kept 15 on our roster this year, all of which can make immediate impacts for us. One really good thing going into this season is the level of depth that we have and the competition at each position that we can do. Why that is beneficial for us is it creates a more challenging and more competitive practice so that we can put the guys who are deserving and who represent Tuscarora the right way and can get us the wins that we need to propel us a little bit further than last year. We came out, lost the first round of playoffs, and lost to James Wood in the region semis last year. We're hoping to excel past that, and we have very high expectations for this year. As of pitching, we had in conference we were sub-2 ERA, and then we ended up finishing the conference or overall season and postseason with about a 2.1 ERA. We have key returning arms in Cole Keel, Bauer Burkhart, and Brendan Cowan, with a few scattered arms that came out for last year and can really pitch for us, like Jimmy Domingue, Nick Sheehan, Drew Meaden. So we're going to have a lot of starters and arms that we can use. Last year was a little tough when we had 3-game weeks, but this year, if there are ever any 3-game weeks, we're confident that we're going to have the right guy on the mound in every situation. Our pitching staff also was a 3-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. So those are extraordinary numbers in the high school level, and all our arms are returning. So we have, in depth, we can say about 10 arms that we can put out at any time that's going to give us a good shot at winning. It's the most talented staff I've ever been a part of and had, so we're looking forward to seeing them compete on all levels this year. Defensively, we have 8 returning defensive starters. We lost a couple last year, one going to homeschool in his age, so we are working on filling his position at the corner. And then we are extremely strong up the middle. We have senior catcher in Braden Kelman, who committed to Frederick Community College. We have Bauer Burkhart at shortstop, who's committed to Marshall. We got a dual player in Cole Keel, who will be on the mound and at second base with also Drew Meaden and Jackson Bordas. And then up the center in center field is Jimmy Domingue. All guys that will compete for us and kind of lead this way. If your strength up the middle is great, you're going to be successful at any level. The 4 captains this year, 3 of them were junior captains last year, and then we added a 4th this year, and our team captains are Jimmy Domingue, Braden Kelman, Cole Keel, and Bauer Burkhart. A couple names that are going to make big impacts for us this year, too, is Virginia Tech commit Brendan Cowan. He'll should be seeing a lot of innings for us as well. Drew Meaden, Bauer Burkhart, Cole Keel, and Braden Kelman all committed to the next level to play. So we're looking forward to see what they can do for us. Let's see here. Offensively, returning, again, 8 of the starting 9. We're going to have some impacts from a few younger players in Ashton Peschke. Isaac McIntosh is a returning junior who should make some impacts in our lineup, as well as Michael Janicki. We also had a Paula Six transfer come in and Orion Marshall. So all these pieces that are coming together is going to add some depth and some competitiveness for us and throughout the district. Looking forward to this season, one of the tough things is I don't think there's going to be an easy matchup in our district. I think every team in this district has an arm that can stop you in your tracks. So if we keep doing what we need to and compete at the level that we can, we should be very successful and have a high achieving season this year.
Hey, George Concept from Gameday magazine. Cole, you've been developing and have developed a successful program at a relatively new school, Tuscarora, and congratulations for that. What are the things that you're doing to make sure that this program is fed with new talent, coming from the seventh graders and the eighth graders who are going to be coming to Tuscarora? Do you spend any time trying to develop those relationships early?
Yeah, so we have some of our upperclassmen that have relationships and younger classmen that have relationships or siblings with the younger group. So having them, come out to practice every once in a while if we can get that rolling, and just making sure that we are showing, what we can do on the field and off the field. We used to be a part of, before the pandemic and everything, we had Readers Are Leaders, which we would go in and volunteer our time to help readers at that local elementary school that feeds into Smarts Mill and which would feed into Tuscarora.
Coach Bob Duncan from Gameday magazine. Thanks for coming today. Appreciate your time. You, as a guy who grew up playing here in Northern Virginia and went on and had a successful career in college, how would you talk about, or how would you describe the level of competition throughout the Northern Virginia area and how it's grown and changed over the last few years?
Sure, I definitely think, and I think a few of my colleagues can attest, at least the ones that played around when I was, the amount of arms that are coming out of Northern Virginia has definitely increased since I've been here. I've definitely seen some talent in arms across this level, not only in 4A but 5A, in all local schools, which is really cool. You can look at all the commitments that teams are making. A lot of them are pitchers that are going the extra mile. So in terms of that, I think the arms that you're seeing have been a little bit more competitive than when I played in high school. In this area, in terms of the recruiting process, I think it's a very hot zone for baseball players. I think Northern Virginia is doing a really good job producing very young, talented ball players. The tricky part is navigating them through this transfer portal and the whole new recruiting process.
Cole, the success on the field in any sport does not necessarily translate to becoming a good coach.
Sure.
And you're a good coach. How are you enjoying the coaching experience, and what is it about coaching that sort of gets you going?
Yeah, there's definitely been ups and downs. I think any coach can attest, especially being a new coach, that you're going to learn from a few mistakes. The one thing is making sure that you're not second-guessing yourself, staying true to your principles as a coach and that, the values that you hold as your team. But one of the main reasons I do love coaching is the leadership that my kids are bringing this year, especially the 4 seniors in the back of the room. They make coming to practice very easy because it's time away from your family, but you're coming to your second family. So the fact that I can do that makes every decision in baseball worth it. So keeping those growing, and baseball, you're going to love it and you're going to hate it at the same time. It's one of those games that I think is going to teach you how to handle life more than any other sport because of the amount of times you fail. So one of the things that we press on our team is not only the time that we use, because the time that you spend, you don't get it back. So you need to make sure that you're using every opportunity that you can use. And then secondly is discipline. Are you able to show up and compete at the level that you can and work as hard as you can when you didn't have a good day the next day? And the great thing about baseball is it's a perfect game to reset. You can go 3 for 3 one day and 0 for 3 the next day, but still have a solid week and still help your team. So with all those things, I think baseball is the ultimate test in getting a job when you're older, going through college and completing your degree there. All these things, it's a bumpy road in baseball, and you have to rely on your teammates. One play can deter the game, but at the same time, one play can certainly pick another teammate up.
Coach, you mentioned earlier about the number of players on your team and as well as teams across the area that have committed to play at the next level. What would you tell a player who has those aspirations, and how would you what would you tell a coach on how to advise them?
So I would first tell players, you enjoy it. You got to go to a place that you are going to enjoy, because college baseball is a job. Those coaches that's their job. They are trying to win. They're trying to provide for their family. So you're going to have to go to some place that if there wasn't baseball, that you need to be prepared to go there for school, because you get those 4 years. Once those are gone, you're kind of in the real world. So being able to play baseball and enjoy your school is definitely the number one goal that I would tell any young player going through the recruit. The second part is patience. I think with this whole portal that we were mentioning earlier has really hurt some of the high schoolers coming out that could be potential Division I players. And I don't blame the Division I colleges for doing that. They're looking for the best players they can get on their team, and you have a chance to recruit a 22-year-old, transfer in who's just physically a little bit more mature at the ball field, but it certainly puts high schoolers at a disadvantage going into the next level. So the best thing I would say is patience, keep going. There might be different paths to where you want to end up eventually.
Cole, what kind of advice would you give to other athletes who are close to you in age, who are finishing up their playing careers and are considering a career in coaching?
Yeah, looking to give back. I think every baseball coach in here loves the game. I think that it's one of those things that you want to teach kids that kind of kept you in the game in terms of not only the passion that you have, but the love for it, but like going back to teaching you life skills, right? It's going back to communicating, teamwork, collaboration, all the things that baseball you need to have as a program to be successful.
Coach, good morning. Thanks for giving your time this morning. Rich Kelsey with the Loudoun South Baseball Report. Most people call me LSBR. I think actually you were an assistant coach with my oldest son at Rock Ridge, Shain Kelsey. Talking about the number of arms that are out there, what do you think about going back to the days when we played 3 games a week, forcing teams to develop those arms and give more innings rather than some coaches depending on 1 or 2 arms to get them through the season?
Sure, that's certainly a loaded question. If you have the arms and the development of it, you are going to want to use them, right? But 3 games at a high school level, there are not going to be too many teams that can put a competitive streak together for those 3 games. That's a lot of arms. I mean, speaking from our experience, some years we only had 28 kids trying out. And in terms of 3-game weeks, that is a ton, and it could put pressure on arms. And you always want to monitor arm strength, arm healthiness, and all those aspects of it. But you also don't want to put a pitcher who's not ready to go, whether it's maturing, whether it's his arm, and you want to develop those guys. If you put them into a situation too quickly, sometimes it can backfire and ruin their confidence for them and ending up putting them a step back in their development. With the arms now, I'm all, if 3 games are, it's fun. It makes the weeks entertaining because then you only have maybe 2 days of practice, a third going on Sunday. So 3-game weeks also help those kids going on to college get used to one of those schedules. However, it can be a lot in terms of academics. It can be in, getting your homework done, getting your completion done. So outside of baseball, the academic level is still there. In 3 games a week, I mean, with high schools getting out at different times, we might be starting practice at 4:40. We're not getting out till 7. And that leaves them a limited time to get their homework done, eat the right food, get a good night's sleep. So I think there's pros and cons to that 3-game schedule. I definitely think there's some positive to it, but I also think there's a few negatives to it as well.
Coach Shain, final question. Last year's regular season district championship, great season. Get all these guys back, seniors, they've been there. What have you seen a difference in them as far as their confidence and how they're approaching this season?
Their confidence is they are even-keeled, meaning that they're not too high on it. They have high expectations, and they're not putting too much pressure on themselves. I think a little pressure is a good thing, but too much can deteriorate what they can do as ball players. And their leadership. I think their leadership has only grown since last year. So having these guys come back, they are, the young players really look up to these guys. And I think it's one of those things that builds that chemistry. So when you're in those close games, it's going to be, those guys that are going to take your young guys in, give them the confidence that they need to be successful, and hopefully pull out the close games.
Coach, as always, appreciate you coming. Good luck this season. We look forward to watching the Huskies.
This presentation of Game Day Baseball Media Day has been brought to you by the Ballpark Loudoun, the newest home for baseball training, team parties, and corporate events in Loudoun County, Virginia. Come live the experience. To watch more of Game Day Baseball Media Day, visit the Game Day Nation Facebook page at facebook.com/Game Day Broadcast and on Twitter at GBN Mobile.